Hi everyone, I am Megan and welcome to my channel Yoga with Megan. Today we're going to be exploring 5 different meditation techniques that you can remember and do whenever you feel like you need to do a bit of meditation. These meditation techniques are a mix of Vipassana, which is mindfulness, so being aware, being present, helping you kind of lock into the present moment. And then also Dhyana, which is this kind of emptying of the mind, this clearing of space, this finding clarity and kind of fixing up all of the mess that's within the mind. So I want you to get yourself something to sit on so you're nice and comfy. Maybe it's a couple blocks, maybe you've got a bolster, or maybe you're just going to sit on the side of a bed or a couch. Get yourself comfy and I'll meet you back here for 5 different meditation techniques. And if you like what you're doing today, remember to subscribe and hit that bell so that you don't miss a video when it comes out. Okay, so the first meditation technique that we're going to look at today is using our eyes. And this is going to help us with our global awareness. We go through our days constantly kind of judging and sorting everything that we see. And this style of meditation is a way for us to practice everything being equal, nothing kind of standing out more than anything else, and sort of non-attachment to anything that we see. So I want you to get nice and comfortable. And I want you to fix your gaze on my eyes. So looking nowhere else, just look at my eyes or somewhere on my face if you feel a little bit shy looking into my eyes. And just really, really focus on my eyes. Try to ignore everything else that's on the screen. And also try to ignore everything else that's going on in the room. So just fixating completely on a space on my face. And then see if you can slowly start to soften that gaze just a little bit. So you're starting to take in more of my body and perhaps even more of this screen as well. So maybe looking at the whole screen now and trying to still ignore anything that's going on behind the screen, anything that's existing in the rest of the room. If something's moving or if something's still, perhaps there's a window, ignoring what's going on outside the window. And just see if you can stay focused just on the screen. And see if you can not look at one part of the screen more than anywhere else. Just really trying to soften the eyes here. And then you're going to see if you can soften a little bit more. See if you can make the edges of the screen start to blur. And so you're building out your peripheral vision. We're still looking at the screen, but you're starting to take in the outer edges of the screen, letting them soften, and also trying to maybe allow what's existing around the edges of the screen to start to come through. Maybe my body now is quite blurry. And just keep practicing this. Keep building that peripheral vision. Just building it and building it out until you're maybe taking in the whole room. And if your eyes kind of track to one area, just see if you can soften them again. Just letting everything in the room become soft, without edges, without value, without judgment. And just letting your eyes soften here, taking in the space, taking in the room. And every time the eyes get attracted or attached to something, just re-soften the gaze. You can blink, so don't forget to not blink. See if you can just slow your breath here. Just softening the eyes, slowing the breath. We'll just practice this for another 60 seconds, training your eyes, training your mind. Good. Start to blink the eyes, maybe nod and shake the head, just bringing some awareness back. Good. So this is a really good meditation practice if you feel like you're really worrying about things, or if you're feeling like you're being a bit judgmental. It just lets us develop that peripheral vision, bring everything to an equal playing field, and start to soften the edges of our lives. Okay, so the next meditation technique that we're going to do is a simple counting meditation. And what you're going to do is count to 4 and then count back from 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what you're going to do is every time you inhale and exhale, that's going to be a count. So just for example, I'm going to inhale, that's 1. I'm going to exhale, that's 2. I'm going to inhale, that's 3. I'm going to exhale, that's 4. I'm going to inhale, that's 4. I'm going to exhale, that's 3. I'm going to inhale, that's 2. I'm going to exhale, that's 1. And then on my next breath, I just start again. So we're breathing, we're not changing our breath, we're just breathing normally. And you're just staying with the count. And this is going to help to quiet the mind. And it also develops concentration. So we've constantly got these outside thoughts that are trying to break through. And all we're trying to do is stay focused on that counting. So getting yourself comfortable. On your next inhale, just counting 1 and carrying on from there. And we'll do this for about 2 minutes. And if the mind wanders, just bring it back to that counting. Nice. And then just bringing yourself back, maybe switching the cross of the legs if you're feeling a little bit sore or uncomfortable. Good. Okay. So number 3 that we're going to do today is simply called Now What. So this is a great style of meditation to help build what's called cognitive flexibility. And this is this idea that we need to be able to adapt to change and things kind of moving and trauma or drama in our lives, so that if we hold on to everything in our life that we never want to let it go, we're going to suffer. Things are always changing. Nothing is permanent. And, we will lose people and sad things will happen. And we need to have this sort of lack of sort of impermanence. So wanting to hold on to something. We need to be able to let go, and we need to be okay with change. So all that we're going to do in this meditation is simply notice when thoughts come and say to ourselves, meh, now what? So for instance, my ankle's slightly uncomfortable. Okay, I recognize that. Now what? Oh, I could really use a drink. Okay, now what? Oh, I have to do some vacuuming after this. Okay, now what? Oh, that's a really loud car outside. Now what? I wonder if people will enjoy this yoga video. Now what? Okay, so again, we're going to practice this for about 2 minutes. Just notice the thoughts coming. Okay, and it could be something as simple as, oh, this is really silly. Now what? Oh, I'm not thinking of anything. Now what? You just, every single time something pops into your mind, simply recognize it and then say, now what? So settling in, noticing the first thing that pops to mind, and then get ready to shrug it off, saying, now what? Good. Again, gently bringing yourself back, maybe taking some rolls in the shoulders, maybe moving the neck. Nice. Okay, so the next one that we're going to do is one of my favorites. This is called fish tank. And for anyone who really likes to visualize, anyone who does really well from having a lot to kind of focus on creating an image, this vision, so the next one that we're going to do is a favorite of mine. It is called fish tank. So this is great for anyone who really enjoys visualizations, and it helps them to stay focused. So it's very similar to now what, in that we are going to develop this closeness with ourselves. We're going to start to really understand the way that we're thinking and how we're thinking. And we're going to sort of practice letting go of these thoughts. So get yourself nice and comfortable. And I want you to imagine that I have shrunk you into a very, very, very tiny version of yourself. And then I've taken you and I've plopped you into the very bottom of a fish tank. Now, miraculously, you can breathe underwater. So you start to settle into the bottom of your fish tank. And I want you to start to visualize what's in your fish tank. Maybe you're sitting on a seashell. Maybe you're sitting on a rock. Maybe you're sitting on a turtle shell. So just visualize where it is that you're sitting and start to notice perhaps the foliage around you, maybe noticing any sparkly shells laying on the seafloor or the bottom of your tank, maybe noticing any fish floating by. And all we're going to do is, as a thought arises, we're going to sort of look slightly up towards the top of the head, and that thought is going to start to come out of the head and form into a thought bubble. And that thought is going to separate from your brain, and you're going to watch that thought bubble float to the very surface of the tank. And as that thought hits the surface of the air, it's going to pop. And then you're going to slowly bring your attention back down and notice the very next thought, see it arise out of the brain into a thought bubble, and watch it float gently up to the surface where it pops again once more. And you're just going to repeat this process over and over again. So again, very similar to now what? We're recognizing these thoughts. We're staying with them a little bit longer, and we're just letting them float up to the surface. So getting yourself comfortable, closing your eyes, starting to visualize yourself in your fish tank, and just noticing the very first thought that you can, and feel it coming into that thought bubble and starting to watch it make its way to the surface before it pops. And once that thought bubble pops, you're just going to bring yourself back down, noticing the very next thought and carrying on. Keep visualizing those thought bubbles rising, popping, and then your attention coming back down. Good. Gently flutter the eyes back open. Nice. If you need to take a windshield wipe with those knees, go for it. When it comes to doing your own meditations, I'd recommend doing 1 or 2 of these max at a time. So just kind of playing around with these different styles, maybe choosing one and doing it for 5 minutes each day, and then switching in a different version. And you'll find ones that work really well for you. So the last one that we're going to do is a dhyana style of meditation. So we're trying to clear the mind. We're trying to empty the mind. So it's very different to the previous ones where we're focusing in on those thoughts and we're becoming aware of what's happening and we're listening to that. In this style, and I just call this style of meditation empty, we're seeking out the quiet. We're seeking out the spaces between the thoughts. So we're not necessarily trying to stop the thoughts, because that's gonna be too hard. But we're looking for those little moments when there isn't thoughts. We're sort of piling ourselves into those moments of quiet, those moments of spaciousness. And the more that we practice this, the longer we'll be able to make these spaces, the bigger we'll be able to make these spaces. And today you might find that there's just no emptiness, there's no space, there's no quiet, and that's okay. But you're simply like a dog hunting prey. You're trying to hunt out those places in the brain that are a little bit quiet, a little bit still. And this one can be really challenging. So try to just sit, try to just notice, and see if you can find those transition places between the thoughts. Almost like that moment where the breath before the inhale and exhale change into one another, that transitional space. So again, we're going to practice this for 2 minutes. All you're trying to do is find that emptiness, find that quiet. So closing the eyes again. And just bring your awareness into your mind and see if you can find any stillness. Okay, take a deep breath in through the nose. And then just open the mouth and sigh that breath out. Well done, guys. So those are 5 styles of meditation that you can try. The first one is just simply focusing in on one thing and softening and softening and softening that gaze until everything starts to have no edges and everything becomes equal. The second one is counting. So just counting the breath to 4 and then back down to 1. The one after that is now what? So just every time a thought comes, just say now what and move on to the next thought. The fourth one is that lovely fish tank for those who really like to visualize, where you watch the thought bubble float to the surface and pop. And then the last one is trying to stay with that emptiness, find the quiet within the mind. So let me know in the comments below which style you found the most challenging and which style you really enjoyed. I would recommend trying to fit in 5 minutes, maybe only 1 or 2 minutes to start, of meditation into your day. Set a timer maybe before you get up and do your day, maybe before you brush your teeth, or maybe at the end of the day. Thank you so much, guys. Remember to subscribe or click below so that you don't miss any of the videos that are to come. Have an amazing day. Bye.